Hey folks, Jim, Leila, and Crystal here. Now, someone is celebrating a very special birthday in a few days who we know is watching. So, we want to wish him a very special birthday on the 21st, so ladies, take it away.
Happy birthday to Brian, who just keeps on trying. We may not like your angel, but the fans keep on buying. Hey gang, it's Leila here at the Comic Connection with this week's comic book reviews. First up, we've got Dead at 17, Rebirth, number 1 of 4 by Josh Howard. In the continuing adventures of Nara and Hazy, people are changing into demons after manifesting a strange mark. And now the marked are feared by all, and Nara is trying to find out the cause of it, especially since Hazy has just manifested the mark. I really liked this. I love the art and the bright colors that just make it pop right off the page. It's simple yet very effective. If you're not familiar with the series, there's an Ultimate Edition trade paperback that's come out recently that collects everything up to this point. It's definitely really worthwhile for you to pick up, so if you haven't read Dead at 17, make sure you grab it. Next up, we've got Batman Streets of Gotham, number 1, written by Paul Dini with art by Dustin Nguyen. A night in Gotham City is never boring, folks. Commissioner Gordon responds to a robbery attempt only to find a maybe reformed Harley Quinzel. A young girl is seemingly saved by a mysterious stranger, and Firefly throws his hat to the supervillain ring by setting Gotham ablaze. This is a really good start to the monthly series that's going to be ongoing. I like the feel of the story, which is kind of like Sin City with all the little vignettes that eventually all piece together by one little common thread. The only thing that was sort of disappointing for me was the art. I'm not really a Nguyen fan, but other than that, this was a really good start to a new Batman series. Next up, we've got the much anticipated and probably overly hyped Captain America number 600. This issue gives you a lot of bang for your buck, though, because there are a couple reprints and some new stories, and there's a really cool cover gallery in the back for all 600 issues of Cap, which is really cool. But in this one, the story to look for is called 1 Year After, and it's written by Ed Brubaker. It's told in a series of vignettes and lets you know where the characters are sort of a year after the shot heard around the world. And then you find a really important piece of information, which I'm going to spoil now, so if you don't want to know a spoiler, then you should probably turn down your volume a little bit. So basically it's revealed that Sharon Carter may not have shot Steve, and she thinks that she can save him. Overall, I liked it. It's pretty good. I'm not sure that we needed a general overview of what Cap meant to the world. I think everybody sort of knew that and was anticipating Reborn anyway. But I still enjoyed the read, and it did make me really, yearn that for Reborn number 1, which is coming out July 2nd. So pick it up. It is a pretty good lead-in. And last but not least, we've got Angel number 22, written by Kelly Armstrong, and the art's by Dave Ross. In the finale to the story by Armstrong and Ross, Angel and the gang struggle with the best way to fight evil. The potentates sort of advocate a strike-first, proactive approach, but Angel believes that a person's future is not set. People can seek redemptions for their mistakes, which of course leads to a showdown. I gotta say I'm sort of disappointed with the end of this whole series. There's a lot of bluster and sort of preaching, but not much really happens. The art is better than Ur's. I gotta say that I liked Dave Ross's art. But I'm really, really hoping that this series is eventually going to get to some straightforward, cohesive storytelling instead of just hopping back and forth in time all the time and seemingly trying to tie stuff together after the fact. So hopefully with this upcoming run, starting with Brian Lynch again, we're going to be getting to a good place. But for me, the ending of this arc was only okay.
Hey folks, Jim here with this week's comic book reviews. First up, Prince of Heroes Chapter 2, Number 3, written and drawn by Rod Espinosa. In this one, after defeating Satyr Mesozora in a fight, Ronan is shown around by the captain of the ship he now resides on. But on the tour, the ship is attacked by the Olgam, and Ronan is forced to a face-to-face battle. Another fantastic issue by Rod. If you're not reading a Rod Espinosa book, pick it up. You're going to not be disappointed at all. It's just simply fantastic work above and beyond. Next up, Transformers Spotlight Cliffjumper by Shane McCarthy and Robbie Musso. After crash landing, Cliffjumper finds peace among the strange planet's natives, but when the pursuing Decepticons finally catch up with him, his new life is shattered by tragedy. I really love this one-shot. This was a fantastic Spotlight issue. The art's great, the story is fantastic. It kind of reminded me of an original G1 episode. It was just that good. I really enjoyed this one. Really good work, Robbie and Shane. And last but not least, Gold Digger number 107, written and drawn by Fred Perry. And in this one, a duo of poor were-rats break into Gina's home and steal the Tibetan Chaos Coil. But they accidentally, in their haste, activate it and are transported to Xanadu, where they soon have to deal with a nightmare named Dreadwing. Now, if you've been following Gold Digger, you know who Dreadwing is, and you just know how a badass he is. Now, these new were-rat characters, you can't come to love them because they're not around for very long. But overall, fun story, great art, very good book. Pick it up.
Hi, it's Crystal from Comic Connection with this week's comic book reviews. Up first, we have The Trial of Thor by Milligan, Nord, and Strain. In this one-shot, we follow Thor as he fights the Frost Giants, and eventually he and the rest of the gods beat the Frost Giants. But unfortunately, innocent people are dying all over Asgard, so people are starting to suspect that Thor might be the culprit. So throughout this story, we get to meet a whole bunch of different characters, different gods and stuff that I hadn't met before, which I thought was really cool. The art is good, and the story is very interesting, even if you're not a normal Thor reader, so I would recommend this one-shot to Thor readers and non-Thor readers alike. Up next, we have X-Men Origins Gambit with Carey, Yarden, Robinson, and Fairbane. I didn't know anything about Gambit's origins other than he was a thief and he was from New Orleans, so I found this very interesting. A little spoiler alert for you, I'm going to tell you about what happens in Gambit Origins. He has a wife, apparently, and he ends up killing her brother, which is how he gets kicked out of New Orleans in the first place, which is very interesting. And then we follow him as he's part of the Marauders with Mr. Sinister. It's kind of a more innocent take on Gambit's origins than I'm used to. I'm used to him having a little bit of a darker side, and this makes him seem maybe a little bit too good. But the story was really good, and the art was awesome, so if you're interested in learning more about the new Gambit origins that are maybe a little bit more innocent, here is Gambit Origins from X-Men. So last we have Executive Assistant Iris. The premise of this book is that Iris is an executive assistant, secretary, assassin, concubine. The premise, I think, is really awesome, and in this first issue we follow Iris through a normal day, being a secretary and murdering lots of people. The art is really good, and I enjoy the premise, but I feel like the story hasn't had a chance to mature or develop yet. So far, there's no real character conflict, and there isn't much happening that you wouldn't expect. Fighting and her being, in general, beautiful and untouchable. So from that aspect, good, but I hope the story gets a little bit more interesting as time goes on. So, one to watch. Thanks very much!